Okay, pilots, Bill Lawton, Picayune, Mississippi, back with you again. This is the second half of the little video on the A-10. For what it's worth, for those of you that are experienced pilots, you probably won't want to watch that, but if you're new to the electric jets, as I am, I've had to learn the hard way, so I'm going to try to pass on some of my information to those of you that are just getting started, and for those of you that have this Banana Hobby A-10, you might find some of this information useful, and it may help you to decorate your airplane like I've done this one, and it turned out pretty sharp, so I'm sure you'll get a lot of compliments on it. And I'm going to give you some info on the paint that I used and where to get it, and batteries, and general information on the radio that I use, which is a DX8 that has telemetry in it, for those of you that have a DX8 and want to use the telemetry. So anyway, I'm going to start with the paint. So that seems to be the easiest part. It really isn't a whole lot. I did paint the inside of it, as you can see, with this zinc chromate paint. And I also painted down there on the inside the landing gear door. The real airplanes are also painted like that for the most part. Zinc chromate is protective paint that keeps the aluminum from rusting and corroding and so forth and so on. But anyway, having said that, these paints are available at Hobby Lobby International. I'm sorry. Just plain old Hobby Lobby. They're all over the United States. You can go in there. Most any hobby shop will have it too. Then I'll show it to you. It's by Model Master, and this particular color is green zinc chromate. Another color that I used on the airplane was neutral gray. That was, and I'll show you, we'll use that for. And the other basic color of the airplane is ghost gray. If you can see the different variations in color, especially along this line right here, that's where it breaks. Those two colors are a real close match, as you can see by I don't know if you can see it or not, the little control horns. I went back and touched them up, and I also painted the servos, because the servos that come in it are blue, and that's about as close of a match as you can get. At least it's not too noticeable. Probably nobody would even know that they were ever blue once you painted them. So that's just a few little things that I've done to it. I also did detail the pilot. He's not all that spiffy looking, but you know, it's better than the white and dark. He was all green. His whole body was green. Had a white helmet. You know, so I just fancied him up a little bit, put a little color on him, a stripe on his helmet. And I did paint the little motor inside of there that opens and closes the canopy. I did paint that chromate green too. That's better than white. So you'll find a few little things to do with it. I have a whole bunch of these paints, and I painted some of the rockets. You see with yellow tip and silver tip, those black, green with a red tip on that bomb, and this rocket, a missile here, has a couple of stripes on them and black tips, and in the back they're black in different colors. But it makes for a nice looking airplane. It may not be realistic, so to speak, but at least it adds a little something to it. Okay, now for those of you that have a DX8 radio with the telemetry in it, this is the wire for the temperature. I've wrapped it around the battery and taped it to it. That gives you the ambient temperature and also the battery temperature. If your battery runs at, let's say, 135 degrees, just for example, after you fly the airplane a couple of times, before you put any alarms in it, you want to get an average battery temperature on it. So after that, then you know what the high limit of the battery is, and you can set the telemetry in your radio to give you an alarm if the battery goes on that. As batteries get weak, they tend to overheat a lot. So you'll know right away whether you need to land because the battery's getting hot. The second thing is that I went back here when I first got it. This whole section right here, this pod, it has only 8 screws in it to hold it together. And so I removed the screws and got to the starboard engine, and between the electronic speed control and the engine, or the motor wires, there's a red, black, and a yellow wire. And what I did was get into that with an X-Acto knife and skinned a little bit of the casing off of the wire. And you need to find any two of those. It doesn't matter which combination, red and black, red and yellow, black and yellow. It doesn't matter which one. It's just a sensor. But you have to have that sensor wire to run to the telemetry module in the front of the airplane, and that gives you engine RPMs. In this instance, these are 70mm fan jets. They ought to turn about 33,000 and some change on the no load conditions, or minimum load. And these are 6-pole motors. And believe me, that little information right there is worth its weight in gold, because I had to take another one, spare engine that I have, apart to count the poles in it, because if you have to tell the radio how many poles the engine has in order for it to correctly give you the RPMs on it. But anyway, once I did that, then you can't see it, but underneath here I just rerouted routed the wires in with the regular wires that come from the engines, and they go along there, of course, come out the front, and that hooks into the telemetry up in the front of it. The other electronic deal is the voltage coming from the battery, and that wire is right here. I did the same thing with it. I don't know if you can see it. I just took it and soldered it, cut the casing off of it, soldered it to it, and then came back and just taped it to make sure it wouldn't get pulled out of there. That's going to give you the voltage of that battery as you fly, and it's also there's another sensor in there that you can add that will give you the voltage going to the receiver. So the DX8 is really a great radio, and it's capable of having a flight log module added to it, which gives you fades and holes and all that kind of stuff. And you can actually see at that point, once you fly and land, you can read the flight log. It'll tell you how many fades and holes you have, and you can better position your second antenna right here, second receiver. You may want to put it in a different spot, because this one, I have the little antennas going out to the side, and the one back here is underneath the battery. It's going perpendicular to the sides of the airplane. So this ought to work all right off the bat, but you may find that it doesn't, and if it doesn't, you can always move it to the back of the airplane or someplace where there aren't so many wires and batteries. But anyway, that's it in regard to the electrical part. Let's see, we did the paint and the electrical part. Pretty much the rest of the construction is straightforward. The instructions that come with it are really poor. There's no verbiage in it, so to speak. It's just a handful of pictures, and you can pretty much guess by the pictures how to put it together. But I did want to make this little video for those of you that may have one or haven't put it together yet, or thinking about buying one. It's probably going to be a great flying airplane. Just from the videos that I've seen, it looks like it's actually pretty damn fast, and I can't imagine what it would be like with a decent battery in it. And I am going to upgrade to another battery. This is a 4,000 milliamp. I've been checking, and they make something around 4,500 with a 45C that'll probably make this thing really scoot. Although the A-10 isn't a fast airplane to begin with, it's not even a supersonic airplane, but it is a maneuverable airplane, and it does have some really slow speed, great flight characteristics. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to give you all that little bit of information. If you found it useful, well, then that's good too. I do want to say that if you're going to get parts, batteries, or chargers. Oh, and speaking of that, I did want to show you this one thing. This is a little device. If nobody tells you anything, you have to find out on your own. So I'm going to save you all the trouble on one little issue. This is a thing called a cell match. It comes from Esprit Hobbies down in Florida, where you get the batteries from. It's $19, and quite honestly, you can hook it right to the little poles on this battery right here. It just, well, you can see it just fits right in the end of there, and it instantly gives you the voltage in every cell. And there's a little gas meter on the side right here, and that gas meter tells you how much power your battery has. It also will balance the battery, so when you go to charge it, all the cells have the same voltage, and it works on 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 cell batteries. It's great, and that way you don't have to guess how much power you have. You'll get to know how much of a charge your batteries can take and how far down you can go before you ruin them. But it's a great little device. It comes from Esprit Hobbies in Florida, and they'll send you one right away for 19 bucks. The other people that I've dealt with are Horizon Hobby. They're the radio people. They have most anything you need. They're absolutely great to deal with. You can pick up the phone, and when you dial the number, somebody on the other end will answer it, and you can talk to a real person. You will not be on hold for 3 hours like Banana Hobby. I've gotten to the point where Banana Hobby is just, they are just the absolute worst at anything regarding this hobby. But nevertheless, another one is Hobby Lobby International. They're real good people to deal with too. I had a SU-34 fast fullback, SU-34 fullback jet, and right out of the box it had 2 bad servos, and I couldn't get to them without tearing the airplane apart. So I called and talked to them, and believe it or not, they sent me a whole new complete airplane in the box to replace the one I had. And I thought that was just unbelievable, and nobody does that, but they do. So I have the greatest admiration for Hobby Lobby International. They do what they say they're going to do too. XLE is another one. XLE has some good batteries. Incidentally, on the battery issue, probably the best battery out there is Thunder Power. They're quite expensive. One for this airplane would probably be $225, $250. You may be able to find them cheaper, but if you can get your hands, or you can afford a Thunder Power battery for this airplane or any jet you fly, they're usually a little bit lighter than the battery that comes in it, and man, they will really outperform anything. So just another quick rundown. I did tell you the airplane is in general pretty neat. I forgot to show you that these are the little radar antennas in the back of it, and they come in the kit. They're down on the bottom, and there's one on the top right there. But anyway, you can see that paint code that I gave you is pretty much of a match. If I pan that quickly, you'd hardly even notice those little aileron horns. But anyway, that's my little review and tips for you. I hope you find them useful. If you have any problems or questions, or you want to know the answer to something you think that I may know, you can feel free to give me a call, or actually you can't call me, but drop me a line or reply to this video on YouTube, and give me an email to go to, and I'll answer any questions I have. So good luck to y'all. I think this is a great little jet, and you'll probably have fun flying it. So this is Bill from Picayune, Mississippi, and we'll see you at the next video.